Hello everyone, my name is Marvin, host of Part-Time Opinions. I've played Genshin Impact since version 1.3 all the way to today, except for you, so I decided to start this new series to review every update and see in which aspects the game improves. This is absolutely not a way for me to make videos without having to worry about copyright for once. Another reason I decided to start this series was because in my opinion, version 5.7 was very lackluster in terms of events, one of the main aspects of each version. Let's start with what won't be taken into account in this critique. 1. Marketing. It happens outside of the game, so it won't be taken into account. 2. Story quality. While the length and amount of quest will be taken into account because it is content at the end of the day, everyone will have a different opinion on the story, so it won't be included in this critique. 3. The new characters. Yes, the main selling point of each version. Not everyone obtains these characters, so they can't really be considered content in a general critique. What I will be taking into account is 1. System optimizations, which are worth 2 points, permanent content worth 4 points, limited content worth 3 points, and extras, skins and things of the sort, worth 1 point, having a maximum score of 10. With that said, let's do a quick example with version 5.7. System optimizations, 2 out of 2. How the fuck was the retry button not a day 1 patch? The resin changes are a little annoying, but absolutely worth it for the time they save. Permanent content gets a 3 out of 4. Decently sized quest, decently fun new game mode that actually encourages multiplayer, and a better way to farm artifacts. Limited content, 0. No fucking events. I am not kidding when I tell you there were a solid 10 days of patch where the only event was a ley line overflow. You know, the end of patch event, just shoehorned in the middle of it. I have a theory that they did this because they didn't want to overshadow the HSR Fate collab, which definitely tracks with miHoYo's history, which resulted in this version getting a 5 out of 10. No extras, no nothing. A half-assed version, if you will. Anyway, let's get started with 5.8. They're shit. The problem with the clock is the 30 seconds of nothing I have to sit through, not that I can't fucking set it correctly. That's really it for system optimizations. There are some mildly useful ones here and there, but nothing you can't figure out on your own, honestly. So I'm gonna give them a 0. Oh my god, they finally made event maps permanent. The new area is beautiful. It has one of my favorite aesthetics in the game. The music and buildings remind me a lot of Super Mario Sunshine. The Asha, I think, have a really cute design and animations. In terms of gameplay, I think they're definitely my favorite Natlan transformation. They are very fun to control and run around with in the resort. Speaking of the resort, this is a very puzzle-focused area. They generally revolve around the Asha's paint mechanic. You'll have to paint certain objects to unlock chests, which can get very confusing because they're just a bunch of areas which are just optional to paint, just for your own customization. But anyway, I did manage to 100% the new area before the version ended, so yep, pretty fun. To unlock all the colors, you have to do certain things around the resort, so it might take you a longer while to 100% this place. In terms of the Bakunawa and the Mirjavari, this is probably the most disappointing part of the update. The Bakunawa is not a world boss or a weekly boss. It is an optional boss. While you can still use it for damage testing, the actual fight with it is very gimmick focused, which basically means you do most of the damage through QuickTime events. I'm sorry, did I say most of the damage? I meant all of the damage. This results in the battle feeling more tedious than actually challenging, which is a very big disappointment because this was a very cool boss, design-wise. It reminds me a lot of the final boss of Guardians of the Galaxy. You have this big, ginormous dude, and the fight is just hordes of enemies. You don't actually fight the boss, you just use mechanics in order to beat it. Another aspect of the update, you can finally get all the Pyroculus and upgrade the Pyro Monument to the max, which I didn't need the new area to do. Without opening a single chest in the new area, I got it to level 47. That is 3 levels away from max. I don't know why miHoYo insists in restricting them by version instead of by cost. There is no reason to. On the positive note, it does change appearance once you max it out, and it looks really cool. In terms of quests, you get 1 Archon quest and 1 new area quest. Both are decently long, so they'll keep you entertained, or clicking until they add a skip button. The new area also has a bunch of optional side quests, so overall, I'm gonna give miHoYo all the points in terms of permanent content. The exploration of the new area will keep you around for a couple of hours. The limited content was okay. Nothing amazing. The minigames were fine. They were entertaining for what they were. I don't mind as much as last patch because there was a whole new area to explore. I will say there was no reason for the main event not to last the whole patch. Also, there was one combat event, which was fused with a rhythm minigame. I would have liked more combat-focused events since it's the main focus of the game, but whatever. I will say I do appreciate all the stages being available in the first few days. It usually takes weeks for them to unlock completely and get all their rewards. I'll give Hoyoverse 2 points. The skins are really nice, especially Yelan's. The free weapon is nice, even if Ino is the only one who can use it completely. It's a claymore that buffs Hydro-related reactions. So, yeah, who else could it be? Luckily, Ino will be free in version 6.0, so yeah. That's nice. 5.8 gets a 7 out of 10. No, this is not meant to be a joke about withering waves, touch grass. While overall, the patch added a lot of fun things to the game and finally made the summer map a permanent thing, most of it is typical for an end of version patch. Though I do repeat, there was no reason for the main event not to last the whole patch. I'm recording this the day the 6.0 special program released, and it seems to be pretty packed. A lot of nice additions, the new area looks nice, but I do have to say something. They're adding this new thing where they're gonna give you essentially 4 constellations for a 5-star you already own. But there are some caveats to it. One, it only goes up to Baiju, so no 4.0 units. I personally would have preferred this since, you know, it's already 2 versions ago, but whatever. What I will complain about is the fact that there are a lot of characters excluded from here. Expectedly, the Archons. I get it, they're the most marketable aspects of the game. But why are the meta— Are you kidding me? There's a truck outside. You're fucking with me, this happens 2 videos in a row. It is Friday. For some reason, they also excluded the meta characters. No Kazuha, no Yelan, no Alhaitham. That's really weird. Like, if you're going to exclude the Archons, I get it. But why exclude the meta characters? There's no reason to. I get Yelan has a banner coming up, but Kazuha is like nowhere to be seen in this version. Also, if Alhaitham is the baseline for characters being included that are too strong, boy, no one's getting added besides Risley and Siegeween in the 4.0 units. Fuck, none of the Natlan units will be added for that matter. But anyway, I thought most of it was fine. I thought the level 100 thing was meh. It was alright for whales and people who are really unlucky with their 50/50s. It won't really change that much. I do think the 4 constellation is really nice, like you have here characters like Ganyu or Hu Tao. This will definitely give them a competing force against the modern units. Not incredibly, but it will at least motivate people to pull for them maybe, just so they can get them to C4. Anyway, that's it.